What's up, guys? It's Victoria from Under Victoria's Spell, and I'm so excited for today's video. I'm going to be talking about romance books that I was really excited for and books that normally I would probably really enjoy, but I just didn't end up liking them. And I'm going to talk about the reasons why. And some of these books hurt my soul because I really wanted to enjoy them. But let's just hop into the books that I really should have loved but didn't. Okay, so the first book that I'm going to talk about is one that I read back in January of this year, and I listened to it on audio. This book was so hyped. Everyone was talking about it. The cover is absolutely beautiful, and that was Ice Planet Barbarians by Ruby Dixon. I wanted to love this book so much because I know it is such a beloved series, and it was like a paranormal sci-fi romance, and normally I really love those. Also, if you can hear them leaf blowing outside, I am so sorry. They have been doing it all day and I have to film this video, so I apologize for the loud noises if you hear them in the background. But back to the book. Ice Planet Barbarians is book 1, and they have a lot of books. I believe there's like 10 or more books in this series. So I decided to pick up the first one, and hold on, y'all. Okay, I'm so sorry. They came like right up on my window from where I'm filming, and I was like, no, nobody can hear me talk. But Ice Planet Barbarians. And okay, so it sets up, and our heroine is kidnapped from an alien spaceship, and she is with all these other females, and they have no idea why they have been kidnapped. Obviously, they speak a different language than people on Earth, so can't understand them, and their ship that they've all been kidnapped on has broken down onto an ice planet, and the aliens that captured them just run off, so they're just left there essentially to die. And so our heroine goes out to try and find help and leaves the rest of the girls there. And on her way, she comes upon our hero, who is from this ice planet. And there's nothing wrong with him. I've not really read a lot of romances that deals with aliens, so it was definitely like a little shocking to me than like reading a mafia romance or a billionaire romance, obviously. But I did really love the connection that they had. It was a little frustrating that they couldn't speak to each other, obviously because they're from different planets, but I do love how they tried to communicate with each other. And also they have like a mating process, and he has found his mate, so he really wants to bring his heroine home with him, but she is trying to explain that she has other people that she is also trying to save. So they go back to his home camp and get the other men to go and help find these other women. And so it's their journey of them falling in love as they're traveling back to his home to then go back to the plane or the ship that was abandoned. And like the whole concept was good. Like, don't get me wrong, like it wasn't like the worst romance I ever read. But one thing that really bothered me was the fact that we learned nothing about her life besides her getting kidnapped. Like, we know no idea where she lives, who her friends are, who her family are. She doesn't even talk about how her family might be missing her. And for me, I'm like, if you're a human, you're going to talk about the things that you miss on Earth when you're stuck on an ice planet, you know? So I just felt like it was just so focused on being on a different Earth that we didn't even learn anything about, like, if she had family, if she had a dog, if she had a fish, you know? Like, so that was very frustrating for me. And I felt like it was just very, like, insta-love a little bit. I wish it would have built up a little bit more. And I just wanted this to work so bad because I knew it was so popular. But I ended up giving it 3 stars, I believe. And I mean, it was okay, but it didn't make me want to continue in the story. But maybe I need to re-pick it up, and because I know there's many other books, maybe I'll like them. But it was just like very weird. I listened to it on audio and I just felt like I was transported to somewhere in Star Wars. So that book just did not work for me. But that's okay. It's not meant for everybody. But the next book I'm going to talk about is one that I know a lot of people love this entire series. But after just trying to read book one, I was like, this is just not for me. And that is Ruthless Creatures by J.T. Geisinger. I think that's how you say the author's last name. And I was so excited to read this. Like, this was a book that had been on my Kindle TBR for so long, and I was just putting it off. But I decided to pick it up for the Twisted and Taboo readathon that was hosted in September, I believe. And this book was just a fail for me, okay? I love the concept of the book. Our heroine, it picks up with her finding out that her fiance has got kidnapped and possibly killed. And it's kind of like her journey through grief. And on the anniversary of their wedding, a year later, I believe it's a year later, she gets a letter, and it's like this whole secretive thing from her fiance. And it also has like the mafia aspect of it, and I love mafia, and so I was totally like ready for it. I'm like, yes, like I'm ready for some like intense, mafia war. But our hero, who is supposed to kill our heroine I didn't even finish the book, to be honest with you, because this book was too insta-love for me on the hero side. He was just absolutely obsessed with her from the get-go and saying you're mine, and like she is struggling with it because obviously like she loved her fiance a lot, and he is just like, you're mine, da da da. And I just couldn't handle that. Like, I cannot handle whenever we're on chapter 2 and he is saying how much he loves her, or like that's his woman. Like, that is just too much for me. I need some slow burn. And if you're gonna say that, it needs to be in a different context. This was the wrong time to put that in the story when she had just lost her fiance. I feel like maybe just keep those thoughts to yourself and maybe not tell the heroine. So I DNF'd this book at like 30 something percent, but I was really wanting to like it because I like the concept. I love mafia, but this book just did not work for me. I know lots of people like the second book in the series, so maybe eventually I'll go and pick it up. I don't know. I'm really bad about like if I don't like the first book, sometimes I'm not going to pick up the second one, but I don't need to do that. But the third book that we're going to talk about is The Stopover by T.L. Swan. This book, I know a lot of people like it. I did not like this book. I still haven't continued on in the series. I know there's several books, but this is the first one, and I believe this is the Mile Higher Club series. I really think that that's what it is. This book reminded me of After by Anna Todd, but an adult version. This couple got on my damn nerves. I was ready to kill them by the end of this book. I also listened to this one on audio. This follows our hero and our heroine as they pretty much have a one-night stand as they are in a layover from their airport. And I believe it's due to weather, and they have a hookup, and it flash forwards to a year later, and she is now working for this man. Their relationship to me is so toxic. The heroine is so catty. She is so dramatic, and I hate third act breakups where it's just all about miscommunications. Well, they had like 50 30 act breakups. They wouldn't communicate with each other. It was like as soon as they had the fight, one was leaving, the other one was crying, and I just could not do that. Like, I need the story to build. I need some character development. I need some angst, and I need you to be adults because we're reading an adult romance, and this was not an adult romance. This was literally teenagers in 30-year-old bodies. Hated this book. I did finish it. I believe I gave it 2.5, maybe rounded up to 3 stars on Goodreads. No. This book was not good. If you like this, I am so sorry. But this book was just not for me. I do want to continue on the story. I believe one of the other books is an age gap romance, and I've heard that that is a really good one, and it's with his brother, Tristan. And I do want to pick that up. So it doesn't mean I'm not going to pick up any more books by T.L. Swan, but this book was just a no-go for me. And the next book that I'm going to talk about, this one hurts my soul because one of my favorite authors of the year is Sarah Kate. I absolutely love her writing. I was very excited to pick this next one up, which is 4 by Sarah Kate and Rachel Lee. Rachel Lee also wrote this with her. I was excited because I love reverse harem. I love Wachus. This was also Mafia. I was like, yes, this is clicking all my boxes. And hated this book. I'm definitely not reading 5, which is the second book in that series. No. This had a good concept where her father gets killed because he's in the mafia, and the last thing that he tells her is for her to go find Silas Black, I believe that's his name. And so she goes to find him, finds him, and it's Silas Black is the dad, and he has 3 sons. No, way too insta love, way too like almost like non-consensual, at least on my part, or the heroine was just so like ready to jump into sex, and I was just like, I love a smutty romance, don't get me wrong, but this one was just not for me. I feel like there was no character development. I feel like there was literally a little bit of action, a little bit of smut, and then there was the end of the book. And I was like, I'm not interested whatsoever. No, thank you. This was not for me. I think I gave this like 1 or 2 stars. Hated this. And that hurts me because I love Sarah Kate. Sarah Kate, if you're watching this video, I still love you, but this just was not for me. But the last book I am going to talk about is the most recent read that I was just so excited for. It was on my it was on my 10 books I want to read before the end of the year. So I was like super excited. This is on high on my TBR. And that is A Lady of Rooksgrave Manor by Catherine Moon. I'm so sad. I did not like this. I just did not like this. The cover is stunning. The reverse harem, one of my favorite tropes ever. You know, Wachus, like everything. Paranormal. I was just like, yes, like this is going to be an all-time fave. Well, it was a DNF. So, did not like this book whatsoever. I mean, the concept was, you know, decent because, you know, she was pretty much going to be a lady of the house to support her needs of her men. Love that, you know. I just could not get around how she just constantly wanted to be having sexy time all the time and nothing ever satisfied her. That was like the first thing. I was like, whew, girl, drink you some Gatorade, eat you a snack, and take a nap. But no. And then the second thing that just really made me DNF it was because of 2 of the heroes from the book, and that was our ghost hero, who you couldn't even see through. No, like I don't want to feel like I'm just talking to a voice in my head. And second one, the one made of stone, who like doesn't really even have a thought process. No, like that's too weird for me. No. But I just DNF'd. I was like, this ain't for me. I wish it was, but it wasn't. I'm gonna go on and try and find some more reverse harems that doesn't freak me out. And also, I had no idea what time period this was in. Maybe I just completely missed over it when I was reading. I could not tell if it was set in present day or if it was a historical. It's kind of set up as a historical, but I was like, I don't even know. I need to know what time period I'm in whenever I'm reading a book. So these books just weren't for me. I hate that they were not for me because all of these books were like high on my TBR that I was like, these are going to be 4 or 5 star reads. Yeah, no, that did not happen. But thank you for listening to my dramatic chat of all the books that I should have loved that I didn't. If you've read any of these books, let me know what you rated them, or let me know a book that you really wanted to like but you didn't like. I would love to know. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys on Friday. Bye.